Hello out there. Katrina Carol Lewis here. I hope that you are finding moments of joy as we move out of the height of summer. When we began this project, it was spring, and we were all newly adjusting to this COVID-19 pandemic. What a time it has been. So much has happened. My hope from home is that you are finding ways to connect with one another and ways to support the renewed focus on social justice and civil rights in our country. Remember, we are the ones we have been waiting for. This week's Hope from Home monologue was penned by Matthew Kiter, whose play, River Ditty, which I was honored to perform in, premiered at Virginia Rep in 2018 and has since been optioned by Tony and Laurence Olivier Award winner Glass Half Full Productions. Today's monologue is performed by my friend and colleague Heather Fawkes. Heather is a Richmond actor, director, and teacher whose most recent credits include the role of Alex in A Kid Like Jake with Richmond Triangle Players and Gurita in Sight Unseen with Cadence Theater Company. In this piece, a mother grapples with her father's ailing mind in a virus-infected world. If you are able, please click the link to donate to support Virginia Rep's efforts to fulfill its mission during this time. I do hope that you enjoy the monologue.
I wish you and me and Dada and little Mama and your Dada could float up to the sky and eat the clouds. And then the clouds become my friends. That's what I'm thinking. That's what my 4-year-old son was thinking while we ate cherry popsicles on a blue and orange polka dot blanket in the backyard. My 2-year-old daughter was busy chasing a lizard across the patio stones with a yellow wiffle ball bat in her right hand and holding her half-eaten popsicle on top of her head with her left until the sugary syrup was pooling into her ear. I used to think a viral pandemic was something to be concerned about only while listening to public radio and maintaining a healthy empathy for developing nations, which is a confused term at best, developing nations, since it's often leveled at some of the oldest civilizations on the planet. When it became clear that we were in the grips of a viral pandemic, I brought my father to stay with us. While we were popsicle picnicking, my Dada was sitting on the deck pouring his beer into a gallon carton of chocolate ice cream and then eating it with a large wooden ladle. I used to think of Alzheimer's as this science fiction-y kind of fog that was alive with ill-defined, nightmarish intent slowly enveloping my father. These days, I see Alzheimer's as more like a parasite, living inside of, feeding on, and finally replacing its host. Same genre, I guess. I mean, you've seen the scene in a half dozen films. One of the good guys is being possessed by some evil mastermind who's cast a spell or has some mind-controlling weapon like a ring or a cane with an ancient emerald that allows him to conjure such dark magic. And just before our good guy does some heinous thing like drop a baby out of an airplane or cook the family dog, our hero wrestles them to the ground, looks them square in the eye. I know you're in there. I know you can hear me. You have to fight this. Fight, goddammit, fight! And we see the eyes of the possessed flicker with recognition, and the pain and the anger and the confusion is vanquished, and they are returned to themselves. The afternoon sun was leaning in. Me and the kids were dancing with our shadows stretching across the yard. My dad was leaning against the railing of the deck so that both hands were free to drink from the gallon of chocolate beer soup, now running down the side of his face and pooling into his ear. When he was done, he simply dropped the carton on the deck, raised his hands over his head, his shadow reaching ours, and then began to shake his hands as if to dry them. "What are you doing, Dad?" I asked. My son answered for him. "He's dancing." And he raised his hands over his head. And then my daughter raised her hands over her head. And I danced with my children in the shadow of my father, arms raised to the darkening and indifferent sky, and utterly surrendered to the conjuring magic of it all.